Welcome everybody to Athletically
Wow.
Speaking, Wagon Wheel Sports College Football Show. As we have been absent from the rest of the world for
Been
a
a
little
bit.
bit. My phone.
Oh,
But we're
oh,
back. We're back with
you back, bro.
everything. We're coming back. We're just skipping all the off-season nonsense, and we're coming in right with the ACC breakdown. And then for the next few weeks, we're just gonna be popping through these conferences until we get to August, and we're full blown. We're there. College
Oh,
baseball's over.
we
Football is on the horizon.
we just have one more full month, man. And NFL a preseason game is July
That's
31st,
true.
man.
So we had the end of
Next
the
month,
football's here.
really. I
Football is
mean,
here.
essentially, yeah, bro.
The
Yeah.
college game will get started back up last
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks of August.
Dude, I'm so freaking excited, man. It's gonna
I
be a good
am
time.
Also, I've heard some news about you. You think OU going 4-8?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh
I don't know what
yeah,
you're talking
I'm
about.
sure you don't.
Well, he put a gun to my head and
I
said,
bet he did. Yeah.
"I'm kidding. I don't recall such.
Mm,
I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it later.
okay. Yeah.
We'll
We'll
find
hit
out
that
what
up in the
I think.
SEC preview, I guess. But no,
Yeah.
we'll take a look at that state schedule here in a minute, and we'll see what happens.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
3-9.
Calm down.
Anyway, let's get into some news, some big news that actually happened. A while back, BYU quarterback Jake Raslov was
Mhm.
accused of sexual assault. Um, what the frick? What is that up about?
I know. I don't know any details. I mean, BYU was super silent on the whole thing. They didn't say anything until now. They said we're going to suspend him for 7 games.
Which I'm looking right
Um,
now at the ESPN College Football Twitter page, and their report says he's facing suspension after admitting to premarital sex, which is a violation of BYU's honor code that surfaced during his response to a civil lawsuit allegedly he raped a woman in 2023. So are they suspending him for premarital sex or for the sexual assault? Because
that's a,
that's crazy.
that's a really good question. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
dude,
Listen,
yeah,
BYU, I know the whole Mormon thing. I don't know. That's wild to me. Like, if you're
yeah,
gonna suspend him, at least make it look like you're not doing it just because you're Mormon, and because you
yeah.
actually were like, if you this allegation is here that says you assaulted this lady, so we're gonna kick you out. It's like
Fucking
that's honor code.
insane, dude. But hey, you know what? Less competition in the Big 12. I don't know. They don't have a good backup
That's
quarterback
true. I'm gonna have to go
situation.
through
So,
and
hey,
relook.
that's fine. That's fine. That's okay.
Let's see.
um,
They've been ramping up. This article says BYU staff has been ramping up the preparation of the three backup quarterbacks: McKay Hillstead, Trayson Bourget, and Bear Botmier.
okay.
Last month, the woman filed a civil suit that alleged Retzloff raped, strangled, and bit her. That's
Oh,
crazy. And in a response to that lawsuit filed Friday, a lawyer representing Retzloff denied those allegations, but said he had consensual sex with the woman. And I guess that's where BYU was like, "Oh, we can't have this premarital consensual sex or unconsensual sex.
absolutely
That's
not.
unacceptable. We
Joseph
cannot."
Smith,
The sexual
no,
assault,
he had the
sure,
whole
but
he had the whole thing going there, the whole shebang. It wasn't just soaking. We're not talking about
no,
soaking.
no, not
It's
just soaking. Like he was,
yeah,
there was
bro.
nobody bouncing those bed sheets apparently,
No, I think this is the most rated R we've ever gotten on this
because it
podcast.
is
I apologize for anybody that's
for
out
all
there
the
that's
kids listening out there.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, that's wild stuff, man. That's
Let's
wild.
see. All right, the lawsuit says that the woman told Retzlaff no and wait, stop, but he continued to force himself on her
That
after she
is
tried to get up out of the bed. The lawsuit alleges in graphic detail that he put his hands around her neck and proceeded to rape her. And if that is true, that is horrible. That man needs to
he
be in jail.
deserves more than just a suspension and
Yeah,
not playing
like he needs
football
to be
in prison.
put under the prison
Yeah,
and lots of other things.
I didn't know. I didn't know the details of everything, so I'm glad
Yeah.
you told us that.
The article says a few days later, the woman visited a hospital, did a rape kit, and was performed, and pictures of her injuries were taken. The lawsuit says she was connected with Provo, Utah police, but did not initially share his name, but they've been filed against him. If that is completely true, then he needs to be put away. like
Yeah.
1000%. That's not even remotely
No, man.
okay. Um, and then for BYU to come out now and then be like, well, that
Little
makes
late.
look BYU look real bad.
Yeah.
Especially considering the article just mentioned the premarital sex, didn't even was like, oh yeah, sorry. That's crazy. That
Mm.
man,
Let's see.
obviously they got to go to trial and whatnot, but that's not looking good for him, I would say.
No, man. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Mm. On a much lighter note, college football 26 teams will be given money
Yes,
based upon how much they are
dude.
played in game. How do you feel
I
about it?
am single-handedly. I'm going to get Oklahoma State.
You Oklahoma.
Ha!
Every day, 20 games at
Whatever I
least.
got to do, you know. I saw I think it was CF Budge. He had the bright idea of what if everybody collectively gets together and we play as Kent State.
Mm.
We'll have them in the playoff by next year. You know, I think that'd be hilarious if we could collectively just all come together and do that for
That would
Kent
be
State.
hilarious, but I feel like you have to do that more years than just one. Like Kent State's
Probably,
not going to get like one
probably.
recruiting class isn't going to get them there.
This is true. It's a lot of commitment. But somebody, I mean, I don't know. That'd be hilarious, though.
I think
I
we can
love
make it
that though.
happen.
I love that, I love that schools they're getting a little bit of money from that and
I personally feel like they should go back to the success ratio. I don't
mm,
know, like the past 10 years, how much success have you had, and then base it off of that. That's my personal belief, but whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I get if like some of the smaller teams will actually get more because their team's being played.
Anything helps, man.
Yeah.
Anything.
I'm excited for 26. It comes out soon. I've pre-ordered it and we are ready to go.
Soon, yeah.
So,
July 10th, I believe, is the standard
yep.
edition.
And if you get the deluxe, it's the 7th or something like that. I don't know.
I'm very excited to get this dynasty going. For everybody that doesn't know out there, we're in a dynasty together, and I'm currently at the helm of Tulsa University. But I think I'm gonna when we start back to our new dynasty, I'm gonna go where I came from, and I'm gonna go back to New Mexico probably or Tulane, probably New Mexico though, and I'm gonna take them to a national championship for the first time in program history.
He's made the playoff once and then lost in the
Don't
first
listen to
round.
him.
So,
It'll be fine. It'll be
I doubt
fine.
it.
It'll be great. It'll be fine.
Listen to your national champion over here, okay?
You
With
have
Sam
one.
Houston. With Sam Houston at that.
Okay, well, I didn't ask, so I don't. I
Okay.
don't. I don't know
I'm
how you
planning on
pull that
making
off.
a playoff run back with Illinois this year too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I think it can happen.
Uh huh. You tell yourself that.
It ain't happening with Tulsa this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, I won't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway, you got any other college football news to relate?
No, I don't think so.
There has
Um. I did see. Who was it? I just saw it today. Some team, some Idaho State and somebody else is playing. They moved their game up from like September 13th to August to week zero. So
Yes,
we have another game on week zero. That'll be great.
that is nice.
Uh,
Also, Texas State has added to
yes,
the
in the
Pac-12.
Pac-12.
They've
Yeah,
rounded their teams out to 8 competitive football teams now, so the Pac-12
dude.
can stay afloat and
He's
consider themselves
back.
a power conference, I believe now. So,
Sad. It's not the same. It's a shell of its former self. But hey, you know what? I'm
yes,
glad that the Pac can still stay. I'm glad that's a thing.
it
I'm
is
happy that
nice. It's
yeah.
crazy to think that Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech could all be a part of the Pac-12 if it,
Mm.
in 2010 when all that went down. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
wild to me.
yeah,
All right, well, that's I think the bulk of the most of the news.
yeah. By the
Um,
way, I like your hat.
Thank you.
That's
Championship gear. This
that's
is the
right.
first thing I ordered my shirt and my hat and a bunch of other things that I probably shouldn't have ordered, but I did anyway. And then
All
this
right,
is the
man.
only thing that's come in so far because everything else is on back order.
I
One
bet it
thing
is.
I ordered says it's not even supposed to be here till like January. I was like, what the frick? Is that
Yes.
like people have been buying the frick out of them? But
Yeah, understandable.
yeah, I don't blame them.
Go Thunder, though.
Yep.
Love it.
Props to the Thunder,
That's right, man.
2025 NBA champions. So
That's right, dude.
we'd love to see it.
That's right.
All right, let's do this. ACC breakdown. We're just going to pop through these. We're going to go through our worst, our disappointing team, our surprise team, our conference championship matchup and our conference champion, and then we're adding coach of the year, player of the year in the ACC. So, would you like to take a swing at this first? Who do you think is going to be the worst team in the ACC?
Um, I have Stanford as being
Mm.
the worst in the ACC. Because in March they fired their head coach Troy Taylor. I'm trying to read through all this. I guess there were some issues with his behavior. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of behind the scenes
It
stuff that
was,
was
it
happening
was,
there.
yeah. But they signed NFL coach Frank Wright to lead Cardinals for one season while they search for a long term option to fill that role. It'll be interesting to see what he does. He was a head coach for the Indianapolis Colts and Carolina Panthers. And they're just having a lot of production lacking, returning with the new head coach. I don't really think that there's going to be that great. I'm not looking forward to them to have a good season, like typical Stanford fashion. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like Stanford is a pretty safe bet. Like I think we both picked Stanford last year as our worst team in the ACC. I feel
yeah,
like it's a very chalk pick at this point, but I mean, they're going to be the worst. They're coming off of back-to-back 3-9 seasons. You're
yeah,
having turnover at the head coaching position, turnover at the coordinator position. You can't get anything foundationally set and ready to actually go do something productive if you're keeping constantly rotating coaches out. It's not going to work. On top of that, like you said, Frank Reich is coming in on an interim basis. What do they mean by interim basis? Are they planning on hiring somebody after this season? Is he going to come in before the season? Are they going to hire him
mid
later on?
when they do mid season. Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
It's
there's even more questions with the head coaching position. Like, it's not even solid. They don't know if this guy's going to be there long term. How do you sell that to recruits? Like, for the
mhm.
future of Stanford, it doesn't make a
There's
lot of
way too
sense there.
much uncertainty. If you're a recruit, you're not going to want to play there. I mean,
You're not going to go to Stanford.
no, man.
Um, Plus, they lost notable wide receiver Emmett Mosley, who had a strong freshman season last year. Their starting quarterback Ashton Daniels transferred out to Auburn. So you're having brand new quarterback, brand new skill positions. Um, you got some returning people on the line, some tight ends, and your running back comes back to maybe have something on the offense. A lot of your defensive end, Anthony Franklin, senior, comes back. Outside linebacker comes back. Like, there's some spots that might be okay. Like, you might have some really good players individually, but the team itself is just not going to be good.
No.
Looking at their schedule, at BYU, which may not be as tough now with Retzlaff out of the way, at SMU, at Virginia, Florida State, at Miami, at South North Carolina, Notre Dame, Cal. Like, you ain't getting nowhere
No,
with that
no,
schedule. I'm sorry, but it ain't happening,
no.
Stanford. Like,
Maybe
with what,
next year.
yeah, like you lost to California last year. It was a close game, 24-21. So that game's not even. Pitt's going to be a decent team. Boston College is probably going to be pretty decent. It ain't happening. It ain't
Mm,
happening. You're going to go probably 3-9. You might win 4 games, and then
if you're
that's it
lucky.
for
If
you.
you're lucky. Mm.
Who do you have
Mm.
as your most disappointing team?
Um, I don't have a disappointing team offhand. Because I didn't have
Oh,
like the things. I don't know.
well, I
Who
can
do
go
you have
first if
this
you
year?
want to
You can
think.
go
There you
first.
go.
Yeah.
My most disappointing team in the ACC is going to be the Miami Hurricanes.
That's fair.
This team came off of the nation's number one offense in 2024, but that team does not have Cam Ward. He was selected number one in the NFL draft. He's not there anymore. They bring in Carson Beck, who is really average
Very. Yeah,
to
he was
below
way too
average
praised. But yeah, no.
from Georgia last year. Um, so you have Carson Beck. They're replacing their top five receivers and their starting running back on the offensive side of the ball. They have three returning pieces to that number one offense in 2024. They only bring back four defensive players to a team who allowed 30 or more points in five of their eight ACC games last year.
Mm,
This is not going to be a team where we're looking at it. because this year or last year Miami won 10 games. We were up until that last few weeks, we were like, Miami could be a playoff team. They could find their way in and possibly make some noise with Cam Ward. It just
Yeah.
ain't happening.
No.
Um, they
No.
get BYU transfer Keelan Marion on the offense, who could make an impact if he, does some good things. Um, Corey Heatherman on the defensive side, who helped Minnesota's field their top five defense, is coming back. So you might could have some things on defense that's going to look good for them. But overall, I'm looking at their schedule. You got Notre Dame week 1 on August 31st. Then you got Bethune-Cookman, South Florida. Those are probable wins. Florida is not looking as tough as they were, or not as easy as a game as they were last year, because
Mm.
DJ Lagway, they found some ground coming into the back half of the season last year. At Florida State, Florida State's probably not going to be as bad as they were last year. Louisville, Stanford is going to be bad. At SMU, who I think is going to return some pretty good stuff. Syracuse, NC State, at Virginia Tech, at Pitt. That's not a great schedule for you, Miami. With
No.
Carson Beck being as bad as he was, I don't think he's going to get any better. You don't really have the skill positions around him to make him better either, so it's just not going to be
No.
good.
No, man. So I agree with you on that. I can see I probably would. It's,
Will you take note of these and then send them to me later so I can make a graphic for this?
take notes.
Both of us had Stanford for the worst, and both of us have Miami for the disappointing team.
Huh, yeah.
Just remember that.
Okay.
All right. Who do you have as your surprise team?
Surprise team. I have North Carolina.
Ooh.
Last season they finished 6-7. Both the addition of Belichick. I feel like all things are possible. I feel like I know he's going to run that program. It sounds like kind of like how Saban had it, like a feeder into the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He would know
high
what to expect.
expectations. I don't know. I'm pretty high on it. Um, and right now, they currently have a three-way battle for starting quarterback position between Max Johnson, Connor Harrell, and Jacoby Criswell. I don't really know anything about those guys or how they, um, but they return. I can't pronounce this guy's name. O'Marion Hampton, who led the ACC and finished fifth national rushing yards for ringback. So I don't know. Just with that, I don't know. And then Belichick, I'm kind of, I don't know. The
Kind
ACC is kind of,
of soft. Belichick could
I don't
make
know.
way
It's
for him.
Belichick, how he was with the Patriots. I don't know. I'm really excited to see everything. I like that they went to grass as well over turf. He's made some changes there. If he can just stay out of the spotlight from his girlfriend,
True.
who is much, much younger than him. I don't know. There's a lot of, I wouldn't like, I guess that's taking a lot off your mind in preparation for the season, but I don't know. I
He's
don't
just having
doubt.
fun in the off season. That's it.
That's right. Yeah. But I don't doubt Belichick and what he can do. And I'm excited to see what he does up there in Chapel Hill.
Sweet. This is where we differ for the first time.
Mm,
My surprise team is the Louisville Cardinals.
nice.
I got Louisville because head coach. I was not high on Jeff Brom as a hire. In the past, I thought he was not great. And it didn't make a lot of sense for them. But he is hoping in what will reboot his offense now as he brings in USC transfer quarterback Miller Moss into this offense, who annihilated Louisville last year in the Holiday Bowl in his like one or two starts that he had there. Miller Moss averaged 200 more passing yards in all 9 of his games that he played. Um, and he completed at least 2/3 of all of his pass attempts. So Miller Moss is a good quarterback. He's gonna have Louisville solid. And he has returning wide receiver Chris Bell as the senior to have as that steady, like I'm gonna throw you the ball, you're just gonna catch it when it gets there. Like
Mm,
he's gonna have his main number one target there to make things happen. He's gonna share the backfield with a dynamic group of young running backs in Isaac Brown and Duke Watson, who combined for over 1,700 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns as freshmen. And veteran wide receivers Chris Bell, Colin Lacey, who was injured last year. So the skill positions for Louisville are solid. My biggest question for them on the offensive side of the ball is the offensive line. But if they can make that work with the few pieces that they got coming back on the offensive line, I think their offense is going to be real dang good. And top of their defense, they have four returning people when defensive tackle Jordan Guerrero, which is a senior, Stanquan Clark, linebacker, TJ Quinn, linebacker, and Antonio Watts as linebacker. So their entire linebacking core is coming back, and they're replacing some spots on the D line and in the secondary. But really, if they can improve their pass defense from Louisville, who was 100th in the nation in passing yards allowed per game, and an 87th in passing efficiency. If they can get that going, then they're gonna be solid. They're gonna make a full on press for the ACC title game, and easily. I think they finish top third without a doubt. Their schedule's favorable. At Miami's probably their toughest, or at Miami and Clemson will be their toughest, and then they go to SMU and Kentucky. But ACC with the schedule they got, with those key playmakers that they got, Louisville is going to be a team that's going to be on the verge, kind of like Miami was last year, where if they can get lucky in a couple spots, make some moves, and they could see themselves making the playoffs come the end of the year.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Now, got the best in the ACC is next, I guess.
So yeah, we got our
Um,
worst, our most disappointing, and our surprise. So now
I feel like
hit up
we,
your conference championship game. I feel like we're going to be pretty solid on this.
I don't know, I don't know, who's your, I don't know. Obviously, I feel like we both would have Clemson.
As a
And,
champion,
well, yeah, I mean, as just the best in the ACC. I don't know, who do you have as in, like, in the conference championship game? As
yeah.
in,
So my conference title opponent is going to be exactly the same as it was last year, Clemson and SMU.
okay.
And I'm going to talk about Clemson a little bit later because I mean, when we get to champions, they're going to be the
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah.
But SMU brings back six different members on the offensive side of the ball, um, and their quarterback in Kevin Jennings was a big part of the reason why they made the playoff push last year. So he's coming back. He's going to be a Heisman Trophy dark horse, I feel like, because they're going to
Mhm.
have the weapons. He can extend plays with his legs. This is going to be an offense that, if they can get it rolling again, then they should be pretty good. Um, the biggest question for SMU, they only returned two members on the defensive side of the ball. So, do they have the depth to actually be able to compete and continue with what they were doing, or are they going to have to fall short on the defensive side and have a bunch of shootouts? So that's really going to be the test for SMU this year to get
Mhm.
back to where they wanted to be. Is can they replace the defense from last year that was 26 in the nation in total defense? So top 26 defense, pretty good.
Mhm.
And then bringing that back to match that or get better is going to be the question.
Mhm.
Luckily, they're led by pass rushers Isaiah Smith and Cameron Roberts, so they have some skill guys in certain spots that's going to make them better. Whether or not they can do that or not, that's who I got. Have Clemson playing in my title.
That's fair enough. I hope they do, man. I love that they were there last season. I
It
hope that
made
they can
football
continue
so
their
much better to
success.
watch when like SMU is being
Yeah, dude.
competitive for the
College
playoff.
football is just better. Dude, yes. I freaking hope so, man. Someone else
Who do you
different.
have Clemson playing?
Um, I really didn't. I don't know. I was gonna say either SMU or I thought like Louisville probably, but everything that you said, I'll probably stick with SMU.
Stick with the Mustangs.
Probably.
All right,
Um,
and then you have Clemson.
but yeah, for Clemson, I think that they're going to be the best in the ACC, and I see them. I think yeah, ACC. I have them winning the whole thing. Are we starting like their why we think or
Yeah, that's why
oh,
you
that's
board.
sweet.
What you
No,
got?
that's sweet. So anyways, but they're returning Kate Klubnik. Solid guy. He threw for a career high last season. 3,639 passing yards and 36 touchdowns. They're returning some of the most production in the country, and they've added some pretty good pieces from the transfer portal. Um, uh, through here. Well, they have Tristan Smith, who's a steal from an FCS Southeast Missouri team. which I think is really cool. A guy coming from a smaller school, but he did really well there. I don't remember
Hmm.
his stats, but he was a solid pickup, I think. He was injured for 3 games last season, but he finished it with 950 yards and 6 touchdowns. The receiver, I didn't say that. And they also get defensive end Will Hop held for Purdue and linebacker Jeremiah Alexander from Alabama. So some pretty good defensive key pieces there. Then it's just Dabo. I don't doubt him either. He has had a lot of success in the past. And with you got Klubnik and some more, returning production, I think they'll be pretty solid in the ACC.
No, I agree. You touched on most of my points. They Garrett Riley coming back is huge for their offense because they finally got some things moving. Last year they got them into the playoff. Had a top 20 offense. He's coming back, and you talked about returning production. They return 8 of their
Mm.
11 players on offense. The only two that they don't bring back is their left guard, tight end, and then a running back. But Cade Klubnik, the quarterback's there. You bring back receivers. You bring back most of your offensive line. Like that's going to be a real solid group for them. The defense brings back almost as many in 6 players. You have some defensive linemen. Your most of your secondary and linebacking core is all veterans. So that team is going to be absolutely ready to just go out and demolish people. They got
Mm.
LSU starting out. I'm not sure that game's close. I think Clemson could run away with that.
I really do too. Yeah.
Real likely. Um,
It's a
Brian
battle,
Kelly is
battle
not
of
very good
the
at bringing
no,
out the
this
to start.
no battle of the Death Valleys though.
Yeah, for real. Um, so yeah, Clemson, this is going to be a really good year for Clemson to see what they're made of. Are you going to be able to make a push to get back into the national title conversation? And this is a team I could easily see pulling it down to the semifinals. Maybe if you get in a good bracket side, maybe even making a run and playing for a national title. Like this team is deep.
They are.
Dabo Sweeney's been there. He knows what he's doing. Cade Klubnik is finally coming into the role that we envisioned him being as like a 5-star recruit. He's coming in. They're making it happen. Clemson's winning the ACC. They're probably going undefeated. I don't see how they couldn't. Like their schedule's pretty easy. LSU at Louisville, out South Carolina is your toughest opponents. Maybe they get a little surprise somewhere, but
Mm,
Clemson's probably running the table. Probably going to be getting that one of those buys this year.
yeah, no, for sure.
Heck yeah.
Wheat.
All right, I'll throw these last two on you, but I have my 2 options. Who do you think the coach of the year in the ACC is going to be?
Dabo Sweeney.
Dabo?
I just off. Yeah. Um, I think so. I don't. I would say either that or Belichick, but I would say Dabo though.
Nice. I want to go Jeff Brom at Louisville. I think that they make enough noise that he'll get that. But to flip that, player of the year, I think it's going to be Clay Klubnik. I think he's going to, right now, he'd probably be my pick to win the
Yeah.
Heisman at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to be in the race. So I would agree. Player of the year there as well for the ACC.
Well, nice.
Excellent.
Well, that is all the ACC information that we have for everybody currently.
I'm excited
Um,
I'm excited for like Big 12 and
I
SEC
know next week
talk.
is, let's see what the schedule is looking like for us. We got one, two, three. So if we did Big 12. Oh, All right, so if we did, so yeah, next week we'll pop out Big 12, and then we'll have everything lining up officially where we can take a week off, and then 2 more, and then we'll be ready for August where we get this thing going.
Excellent.
Before
Excellent.
we leave our fine room here, how Do you were not how Ryan's 2 minute timeout? Here we are.
That's right. Yeah, I thought you were having a stroke for a second. I couldn't quite.
Yeah, it felt like it. I'm back here trying to put words together.
All right. So, yeah, start of 2 minute timeout here. Question number one
Hmm.
is who won the Heisman Trophy your birth year, which I believe was in 97?
98.
No, dang it. Ah!
Wow,
One second.
dude.
How did I? You're born in 98?
Yeah,
Okay, well, one
not that
second.
old. 27.
I don't know.
Wow, crazy.
Don't judge me. All right. Who was it?
Let's see. Trying to think. I know, no, 98. Tennessee won the Natty. I think. Pretty sure. Let's see. It was Florida State, Chris Leak in 2000. And then 99 was like, what team? Texas?
Ah, yeah.
Oh, Ricky Williams.
Ah, yeah, man. Heck yeah, good job. Heck yeah. Yeah, it's Ricky Williams. Um, I didn't have any of this stuff prepared.
Wow, dude.
I know I completely was dumb on your year, I guess. I thought you were older. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, he was considered one of the top running backs in the country. As a 90, what's it? I don't know, as a senior. He rushed for 2,099 yards, 25 touchdowns. Um, yeah, a lot of information here. Anyways, but yeah, Ricky Williams.
Nice.
And then I thought you were born in 97. I don't know why, but that was Charles Woodson, if you would like to know.
Michigan's quarterback.
A cornerback and receiver. I guess he played both ways.
Yes. He was the
Um,
last two-way before,
before Travis Hunter
yeah,
unfortunately robbed it from Ashton Genty.
that is,
Um,
yes.
but yeah, and he was the first defensive player to win the award as well. So that's cool. That's and mine for 99 was running back Ron Dane from Wisconsin. So yeah,
Interesting.
question number two, just kind
Okay.
of some general knowledge here. Who won the NFL MVP the year you were born?
Which
Um,
is you thinking 97?
yeah, that was
That's all
Brett Favre. That was Brett Favre.
right. NFL MVP in 1998.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Was this one was Terrell Davis.
I didn't even get a chance to guess.
Oh, I thought you were your
Wow.
silence. Your silence was
I was
anyways.
thinking.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I don't even know. Okay. Yeah, he played for the Broncos that season. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
We haven't done one of these in a while. It's okay.
I know. Anyways, mine was Kurt Warner. Was cool.
Yeah.
And then question number three: what school has been on the cover of EA NCAA football the most?
EA Sports the most. The
Yes.
team
Yeah, what team has been on the cover the most?
would be Alabama.
No.
Okay, hang on. Give me a conference.
Okay. Big Ten.
Big Ten. Ooh.
Mm.
Would be Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times have they been on the cover?
Man. When did the games start? That was like early 2000s?
90s, actually, I
The
believe.
90s? Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be four.
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct. Wow. Look at you go. Wow.
Nice.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You earned a cookie.
Heck yeah, I like cookies.
Heck yeah,
Who
man.
was the fourth one?
The
Because I
fourth,
it would have been. I assume Tom Brady was one, then Charles Woodson, then Denard Robinson, and then
mm, Charles Woodson was on 99.
okay.
Desmond Howard was in
Ooh,
06.
Desmond Howard. Okay.
Um, and then Robinson from 2014. It's not giving me like a whole list. I have Denard Robinson, Desmond Howard, Charles Woodson, and then some Edwards guy that doesn't have his first name though.
Mm.
I know the internet's very confusing to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't have been Brady because he didn't have like an exceptional
No,
college
no,
career.
he was not that guy,
Mm,
as one might say in college.
true.
But
Hmm.
yeah,
Nice. Well, that was fun.
excellent. Yeah,
Those were
man, good
good.
job, dude. Yeah,
Other than you getting my birth year wrong and completely messing up your questions.
I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Sorry about that.
Nice. Oh well, that'll be fun. Next week we'll be bringing in a new studio. We'll be bringing the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
This is the
man.
last one here. Wow,
That's very depressing, actually.
it is. You see the boxes and the emptiness behind
Yeah,
us.
dude. No, I haven't even. Yeah, and then if you haven't noticed, I'm in a new place too.
I don't
It's
know.
since we started filming, so
This is look at us.
I know. Yeah, bro. But yeah,
So yeah,
dude.
next week we'll do the Big 12. We'll hit up. My
Excellent.
team's going to change a little bit now.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. Because
All
I
right.
had a set list of people, and then Retzloff decided he wanted to be evil person. So,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, that's all I got. So if you didn't have anything else,
No, man, I don't, bro.
sweet. Well, that's all I got, and that is it for athletically speaking.
Bye bye.